Widescreen satellites, cable TV, Teddy red, Teddy blue, Teddy green on the screen. It's in your house, every show, every place that you go. Technicolor is here, Technicolor is clear. It's Technicolor, 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 Technicolor. It's Technicolor, 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 Technicolor.
What's good? What's good? What's good? I know y'all think I'm tripping today. I probably am. I'm probably tripping today. Listen, for those that follow me on Facebook, like my page, other than Wyatt-Live page, my personal page, you know that I came home. I'm here, and I want to just get started. Let's just get started. Let's get right into it, because I'm telling you, I literally came in the door. You know, everybody got a closet by their front door. I don't care how you living. I don't care where you live, whatever. There's always a closet. I guess that's the architect thing. They always put a closet right by the front door, somewhere around the front door. And in that front door, I always keep a hoodie, no matter what. Because at nighttime it get cold down here, and I just put a hoodie on and I go do what I do. And this is it. This is the hoodie that I keep in the closet by the door, at the front door of the house. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with y'all. I put a post on my Facebook page. I have no notes. I have no preparation for show. I have none of that shit. We just about to talk. And I thought about a few things on my way down here, you know, on the way home. I put a post out saying that I'm tired. Yeah, I am, Brenda. I put a post out saying that I'm tired. And I mean it. I'm tired because it's politician season. It's politics season. You know, it's who can say the right shit season. Who can fool us into believing that they on our team or they about to do something that the last group of people couldn't do? I ain't on that type of shit. I don't have the energy for it. I know it impacts a lot of people. So they say it does. But before I get into all of that, I just want to bring up a couple things that I feel are important to talk about, like in the news. The young man yesterday who shot somebody or somebodies down in Texas at school got out of jail today. He turned himself in with an attorney, very smart young man for that reason. He turned himself in yesterday. They didn't have to go chasing, find him, and pull him out of the weeds in the backyards and all that old type of shit. They didn't have to throw the bad boy music on and chase him anywhere. They didn't have to do all that shit, right? So what he did is he probably has some smart parents or somebody's in his life that's fairly understandable how these systems work. And what happened is he turned himself in. But he turned himself in with his attorney. Bear with me one second, y'all. I want to be able to pull up our comments here. So he turns himself in with an attorney. That attorney probably negotiated the bond amount with the prosecutors down in Texas. That's generally how it works. That's how good attorneys do it. And he was released today on bond. I don't have a problem with that because here's the reason why. I know a lot of people are like, ooh, oh, especially Republicans. They thinking that this is a sure sight. And, I hate to put Democrat and Republican on this shit. I hate doing that. But the truth of the matter is, they probably feel like this young man should be locked up before he has his case because he's a menace or he's some type of threat to society. We don't know that. We don't know exactly what this. Now, I'm just going to be honest with you. If he was a little white little dude, I'd be saying the same shit and y'all be saying something different about me, not about that situation. You'd be saying something different about me because I'm keeping it balanced. I'm keeping it 100. I don't hear anybody saying anything about this young man didn't get shot. They didn't run him down. And, you see, when that type of shit happened, the chaos agents come out. But that's not what happened in this case. And what you see right now is what happens in most cases like this. And I don't mean school shootings. I'm saying when young brothers get in trouble, generally who got good parents, they parents make their ass do the right thing after they done the wrong thing. And that is, you take your ass down there. We're going to turn you in and we're going to go get us Carl Lewis, Clyde Bennett. We're going to go get us somebody. Back in my day, it was, you go get, I don't know, who Law Dog. You go get Leslie Isaiah Gaines or somebody like that. That's what you would do back in our day. So I don't have a problem with the young man being released on bond because we don't know the circumstances of the shooting. Now, when I see that, I'll maybe have a different opinion. But at this point, I don't know what the circumstances are other than the fact, I don't know the facts of the circumstance. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what happened. I only know someone got shot. I don't know if it was in self-defense. I don't know what it was. So why am I going to sit back and have a fucking fit about something I don't know nothing about? Why would I do that? Unless I want to classify myself as a true chaos agent and we can get at it and go at it. Today is freestyle. I know it's not Freestyle Friday, but I have no notes. I have nothing. This is raw. We just going to talk. We just going to talk. I have no problem. For those that have a problem with the young man getting being set out on bond, it was a $75,000 bond. If you have a problem with that, this might not be the show for you. But if you give it a second, I'll explain my position. We don't know the circumstances. There has to be something in the facts that will allow that young man to get a bond. $75,000 sound like a lot of money, but that's not a big bond when you're talking about somebody shooting a gun in a school. There's 1,800 students, if I'm remembering correctly. There's 1,800 students in that school. He posed a threat to to 1,799 other students. He posed a threat. So something is in the facts that we don't know anything about. There's something there that we don't know. So I'm going to give the situation some time to breathe. And I'm going to let some of the facts come out on its own before I start doing what most people do. Making opinions on giving their opinions on non-fact. They don't have any facts. Linda Reed, I believe she just said he was bullied. Okay, yeah, let me catch up on some of the comments. This is gonna be a short show today, guys. I don't really have much. I just got here, and I'm even eating. I'm still eating. These are my salads that I buy that are prepackaged. The greatest thing that they have created, when you can buy a salad already made and you just sprinkle the stuff that comes on the top in the salad, and then you add your dressing. This is the bomb. Y'all know I'm on a diet right now, right? This is the bomb. This is a BLT salad. And every time I eat one, it's in the realms of somewhere around 400 calories, 500 calories. Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. So on this young man, he's released on a $75,000 bond, thanks to the fact that he probably has parents that was able to reach out, lawyer him up, and kind of make some type of idea and assure the court that he was going to be able to appear and face these charges. I have no problem with the young man getting out of jail with me knowing what I know. I don't know anything. I don't know any of the facts. And I'll be honest with you. I see Linda Reed said he was bullied. That's not a reason to shoot up the school. I get you though. I know you're just telling us what the situation was. He was bullied. That was an excuse. That was his excuse. Oh, well, when white kids do that in their school and they were bullied, what do we say? What do we say when a white dude get bullied at school? Make sure you keep the same energy. Make sure you keep the same energy. That's all I'm saying. Look, I have no notes, no nothing today. A couple of things I want to go over. Let's just have a conversation, if you don't mind. I very seldom get to do that. I would love to hear from some people. I'd love to hear what you might have on your mind. You can type it on the screen. But what I'm learning is, I got a couple responses. I'm sorry, I'm reading. Somebody just text me on my phone, my regular phone, my personal phone. I put a post out that said I'm tired. And I'm not going to be able to put up with the BS during election time. Guys, we just going to have to do something different. There's enough shows, there's enough platforms in the city of Cincinnati that you can be entertained by a bunch of bullshit when it comes to politics. For some, it's entertainment. And if that's your form of entertainment, fine, that's great. I'm not knocking you at all. But I just have one question. What makes this group of individuals that's going in here now going to be any different than the ones that's been there? And the reason why I say that is because they all have to say the same thing in order to achieve the ultimate goal, and that is to get in office. How do you get in office? You earn the trust of the people. So you tell the people what they need to know. How do you know you can even do those things when you get in office if you've never done it before? See, I just use common sense. I'm not saying that we shouldn't go out and vote. I'm not saying that you shouldn't vote for your favorite candidate. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm saying is there's a huge track record of politicians just purely being politicians and doing and saying what the fuck they want to say. And y'all know that's the truth. If that's not the truth, show me where it's changed for black folks or how have white folks, how have black folks been able to benefit over the years of people that have made promises? It's not like we haven't had a black mayor. It's not like we haven't had a black city manager, black police chief, black fire chiefs, hierarchies in your Republic of Cincinnati. So somebody please tell me. So I get a little burned out. I'm a little tired. And I just don't keep falling for shit. Let me ask you something, ladies. Ladies, this is specifically for you. Because guys don't really go through this type of shit right here I'm about to use as an example. Ladies, I talked to one of my friends today, Crystal. I talked to her on the phone today. When I landed, she texted me, "What's up, Crystal? I hope you're here. I hope you're here. I haven't seen you yet." But Crystal hit me, or I hit Crystal, like blah, 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 on some other stuff that we were talking about. And I used this as an example with her. I said, listen, I said, hey, I said, let me ask you something, yo. I say, don't you get tired of hearing the same shit over and over and over again? I said, what if you have a girlfriend who dude is cheating on her all the time? Every week she coming at you talking about, hey, my man this, my man that, blah, 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 blah. And your advice to your friend is, girl, you better leave him alone. Just leave him alone. That wasn't how you started. You actually tried to help her at the beginning. If you're a true friend, you'll try to help her. If you're a true friend, try to help her through her situation, not what's best for you or what's best for him. You'll do what's best for her because that's your true friend. And you might even encourage her to give it a shot. You might encourage her to continue to work hard at her relationship. You may say, give him a shot. I know him. He's a good guy. Whatever the outcome may be, you may go that way. Okay, but here's what I ask you. If you have a female friend and she's continuously getting cheated on with her boyfriend, by her boyfriend, and this girl keeps coming back to you ladies and saying week after week, he this, he that, and blah, blah, blah. At what point do you just say to her, well, damn it, just leave his ass alone? That's the bottom line. Leave his ass alone. And she don't do it. And she continuously comes back to you and keeps telling you what he ain't doing and he ain't shit and this and this and that. What do you eventually do? Don't you just go off on her eventually or finally just nip it in the bud and say, listen, if you ain't going to leave him alone, then don't leave him alone. But stop bringing me the same ass stories. I done told you how to handle this situation. Leave his ass alone. Leave him where he's at. And she don't do it. How many of us have had friends like that come to you, tell you their problems all the time. You give them the advice and they never take your advice. But then they want to keep coming to you with them same problems. I know I ain't the only one. Y'all is lying. You're lying if you're not admitting that you ain't had no friend like that. Or, you know what I'm about to say. You that damn friend. You the one that keep going back bitching and complaining to some friend and she ain't trying to hear that shit every time. That's what I feel about politicians right now. I watch the debates. I listen to the debates of mayors. See, here's another reason why I'm not interested. Because I've never really been the type of individual where if I'm not welcome somewhere or shit ain't working out for me somewhere, I tend to go somewhere else. Like I never overstay my welcome, or I'm a very fast learner when it comes down to behavior of people and the aura in the room ain't right. You know, like when you walk in, everybody look and then the room get quiet. Yeah, they talking about you, or they were talking about you, or they've had some conversations that's very uncomfortable and they don't want you to hear it. I've been in that position before. We all have. We all been there. So my question to you is, why do I continuously want to listen to politicians talk about the same shit that the last group did? Everybody that's running for mayor say the same shit. As soon as you ask them obvious questions and shit, like you ask them questions that they've already prepared for, like, what's your black agenda? Do you think they talk about the black agenda down at the 700 radio station with the majority of 92% white audience? Do you think they bring that up? It's not part of the big plan. It's not. How do you know they can even execute these? I actually watched the NAACP, not the entire thing. I can't watch the entire thing because I just can't. I'm not saying that there's something wrong. It's just I'm not a political dude. I just don't like, you know, I'm bored at circuses. You know, like if I go to the circus, the clowns don't keep me entertained. I generally focus off. I'll get in my phone. I'll do something else. Circuses don't entertain me. So political debates and shit like that don't either, quite frankly. None of them say I might or maybe. They always say what I'm going to do. That's not even a realistic conversation. That's not even a realistic conversation. How many politicians have got in office and done everything they said they were going to do? Now, here's the easy out. Well, we had a whole lot of other stuff going on, or I had to get the cooperation of counsel in order to make that happen. Yeah, that's an easy out. You didn't say that shit when you were saying you were going to do it. You didn't announce your plans like, well, if I can get this done, and if council all agrees, this is what I'm going to do. Y'all don't do that shit. You tell us bold face in our face what you going to do. As if soon as you walk in the door, that's on your agenda to do. And damn it, that's what I'm going to do. And that's not what happens. And y'all know that's not what happens. And this goes for Republicans as well as Democrats. This is not me being biased towards one side or the other. This is just politics. I can't stomach any of it. And it's politician season. This is the season to be jolly. If you're a politician, this is the season to give out kisses to babies and go to churches and put a little something in the offering plate. Let the preachers praise you. Let the preachers tell you how great you're going to be for the community. This is the time that all the city council people who ain't said shit all year, ain't part of no programs that's out here making no noise, all of a sudden they want to start running ads and talk about what's been messed up out here. But you ain't been saying shit for the last 3 years. Where y'all been? Y'all been ghosts. Now all of a sudden 2021, end of season, end of year, politician season starts. Everybody want to tell you how fucked up it was out here in Cincinnati and how they gonna fix it. But you ain't been out here making no noise. I ain't saying you ain't part of some programs and this and that, but let your presence be known. Let everybody know what you're doing when the work is necessary, not when it's necessary for people to know what you're doing because you need votes. That tells me all I need to know. How you moving for the people when there ain't no cameras on? Now, this don't go for everybody, but if it go for the people that's listening and the people that need to, this do fit some. If the shoe fit, wear it. And some of them motherfuckers wear this size. Some of them wear this size. So this is like when you go to school and it's I don't know. It's off season for me right now. Because I won't be able to say anything. See, I can't give praise to anyone that's never done anything, especially if you're new to politics. Like, how am I going to say that this person who's running for city council is good for you when they don't have a track record? How could I possibly say that? The track record that they have at their previous job shouldn't count. That's not the same decision making. I know you eventually have to start, but make sure how you start in this game is how you explain it. Be a little bit more realistic to people. It obviously works to a lot of people. So who am I to say that they're doing it the wrong way? I'm not saying they're doing it the wrong way as a politician. I'm saying they're doing it the wrong way for me to give a fuck about what they're talking about. Excuse my language. I got to work on this. I'm just being honest with you. I'm just being honest. I don't know. Here's the thing. Not only am I not entertained by that type of stuff, but I don't live in the city of Cincinnati. I'm from Cincinnati, but I don't live in Hamilton County when I'm in Ohio. When I'm in Cincinnati, I don't live in Cincinnati. And here's the funny thing. A lot of the people that's making a lot of noise and making sense of shit and got all this shit to say, a lot of chaos agents don't even live in Cincinnati, and y'all be listening to them. It's sort of like those fake ass protesters that came in the summer of 2020, who came down making Black Lives Matter look like one thing or another, spray painting buildings and tearing shit up, throwing garbage cans and bricks in the windows of black-owned businesses. That's not Black Lives Matter. That was some other shit. So Cincinnati has a problem and an identity problem as far as I'm concerned when it comes down to certain things. Sometimes you have all the wrong people fighting for some of the issues. That might sound harsh. It might not even sound reality. It may not sound like reality, but it truly is. I had some concerns about Cincinnati Public School at one time, and my kids they didn't go there. But I'm a tax-paying citizen in Hamilton County. Because I don't live in Hamilton County, don't mean I don't do business in Hamilton County. Don't mean I don't pay property taxes in Hamilton County. Being Cincinnati, it don't mean that I don't. So I should have a view. I should have a choice. I can participate in the politics of Cincinnati. I really can. Of Hamilton County, I can. I hear that there's a lawsuit being filed in federal court about tax abatements in Cincinnati. Be careful on that fight. I know everybody want to make it sound like that it's about to be, the 4th of July for black folks, and because a lawsuit was passed through the system or through the court, the circuit. This is what's called passing it through the circuit. So it moved from one phase to the other. A judge allowed a lawsuit to come in about tax abatements, the abuse of tax abatements in the city of Cincinnati or in Hamilton County in black neighborhoods. You have to be very careful on that. Because a judge gave it some merit to be heard does not necessarily mean that it's a winnable case. I'm sorry. I hate to say that because I think we all are owed its due. But I don't want people to get all up in their feelings when you find out you sitting on the doorstep of City Hall or your municipal building in the city of Cincinnati and you looking like the outcome of the Breonna Taylor situation. I know y'all might think that sounds like some bullshit, but here, leave the bullshit and the reality to Wyatt. I'll be that guy that'll keep you prepared for the shit that could be coming. I'm not going to massage your ears with a bunch of bullshit. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it real for my people. I know a lot of y'all hear that shit daily about how people keeping shit real. But the realness of what's going on is when you balance it with proper fight. We can know that we've been done a certain way. But the real fight is not getting what's owed to you. It's taking what you can take, what's in front of you. I don't know if people understand that, but I've been denied a whole lot of times in my life for a whole lot of things, and I just found a different way to get it. That's all I can tell you. Now, I'm not going to sit here and bash the fact that somebody's working hard or putting work in to try to get reparations for taxpayers or building owners or landowners in the city of Cincinnati. I just say you have to be careful, because what I want to know, I'll pose this question. I haven't done much study on what this lawsuit is. I just don't want you to think just because it passed through a circuit that, the GA in Louisville, in Kentucky, picked up the case on the Breonna Taylor. You thought that was moving, not to even mention he was black. You thought that was a situation that was moving in the right direction. And what did I tell you? Oh, you think that you about to get a prosecution of some police officers because the attorney general is black? And he about to make this shit rock and roll the way you think it's going to rock and roll? Because he took it to a grand jury? Can I explain something about the grand jury? Oh, this is going to be touchy. I hate to do this, but nobody else will do this, and nobody will touch this. Not in our community. They ain't trying to do this shit. They ain't trying to tell you like this because they possibly don't know. So I'm not bashing them. I'm just saying they can't talk about something they don't know. But let me tell you a little something about the grand jury. Let me tell you how that works a little bit. Anybody out here, if you're not embarrassed to say it, I don't know any of us that don't have a family member, whether it's a son, a daughter, a cousin, an uncle, a brother, or a sister, or somebody in our family. Everybody's had to get in front of the grand jury or be judged in front of a grand jury. Somebody knows somebody. All right, let me explain something how this works. The grand jury is something that none of us have ever seen. I've been in the court system. It'll be 18 years in November. Well, December, I should say. And let me just say this to you. If you have an attorney, you catch a case, and you have an attorney that you pay, and that attorney says, well, these are charges, these are allegations against you. This is at the first phase of this. And that attorney tells you, well, you have a grand jury hearing next week. Give me this money and I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna go do this. You have a bad attorney. You have somebody that's lying to you. Because I'm gonna tell you something right now that I don't know if a lot of y'all know, but nobody's privileged to go in grand jury hearings other than the prosecution, the prosecutors. That's it. You don't have any representation in a grand jury hearing. Nobody's there to tell the jury anything other than what the prosecutor has. It's solely on their evidence and their evidence only. That's it. Your attorney is not in that room. So if they throw it out at the grand jury, you just paid your attorney for nothing. Damn, I shouldn't have said that because I know it's a lot of mad dudes that's been taking some money from y'all. There's some mad dudes right now. And there's probably somebody listening right now whose son or daughter got in trouble and they can remember, if you really think back real hard, somebody might have told you, well, I got it thrown out. How the fuck you do that? How you get this case thrown out? Yeah, you know, the grand jury. I went in there and I did what I did. Oh, man. That's a lie. So let me explain to you where we are in this case of tax abatements and them going to a judge and being able to make it go through the circuit and go to the next level and let it be heard. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have a solid case. It means that you had enough information in there that could be valid and they want to hear it. Let's just say it wasn't enough, just to be fair. Let's say it wasn't enough in there for it to be thrown out. Cleopatra Jones asked a question. Good evening, Stephen Speed is in the building. Cleopatra came in and said, she asked a question, don't the judge, prosecutor, and attorney all work together? Okay, the judge, the prosecutor, and the attorney, don't they all work together? No. Unless there's a plea deal put in part. And what attorney, you're talking about the defense attorney. No, he shouldn't work with them at all unless there's a plea deal on the table and they work together on trying to negotiate the plea deal. That's it. But when you catch a case, let's say I get caught up in a dope case right now and I have my bond hearing and I get out on bond and then I have a grand jury hearing, which they take the case to the grand jury to find out if the defense, if the prosecution has enough evidence to get what they call an indictment. See, this is part of the process that is skipped in federal court. This is why I know what I know. When I say that people are getting indicted in federal court, they're getting direct indictments. They're not going to grand juries and shit like that because they take it straight to the judge. The government take it straight there, and it's an indictment. There's a lot of hidden indictments in state cases. But federal cases, they ain't about to charge you and then be like, we're going to take it to the grand jury and see if we have enough. Because the government don't work that way. Feds don't work that way. When they bring the case, they got you. They ain't about to try to figure the shit out. And they got all they dots pointed and the T's crossed. They got a solid case. That's why they get an instant indictment. Feds don't go put cuffs on anybody without indictment paperwork. They don't do that. Your local level, state level, they will arrest you, get you a bond. In 7 to 10 days, it goes to the grand jury. Within that 7 to 10 days, you can be indicted or they have to do what they call a no bill, which means you know, they didn't have enough evidence, or they felt like they didn't have enough at that time. Grand jury threw it out. It's what they call ignored. Cases ignored. So if your attorney is telling you between that 7 and 10 days after your bond hearing and you get out and you go, and your attorney is saying, I got to go to your grand jury hearing, I'm going to try to fight this, he lying. She lying to you. They're not privileged to go in there. It has nothing to do with your defense. And some people probably wondering why I'm off on this. I'm wondering why I'm off on this. Speaking of indictments, I got some sad news today. Y'all seen I put it on my Facebook page. Former UC player, great player, standout player, ex-NBA player, Ruben Patterson, got federally indicted today. Yeah, Ruben, the Kobe stopper, got federally indicted today, along with 18 other NBA players. And I don't have the story in front of me, but I read it. I got the information and I read it, and it's all in a nutshell. I just can't give you all the exact numbers, but it was somewhere in the realms of like $4.3 million in healthcare fraud. And what that healthcare fraud is it's an insurance policy that the NBA has. It's a medical insurance, you know, like what you have on your job, medical insurance, which they help you with your dental. They help you with, your medical stuff. Like if you have, have to go see the doctor, and you invoice them. It's just an insurance policy, a medical insurance policy. And they cook the books. And there was one ringleader. Williams was the ringleader. And this particular person who was ringleading in this was allowing these NBA players to put in false health care claims. Like one of them had $36,000 worth of dental work, and they called it a root canal. I'm like, what the fuck? What? That was a bear you went in there and did a root, or a tiger, or a shark with all those teeth to do a root canal? I'm just saying, 36 grand on something like that. It was overbilled, and they got caught. See how long it took them? See how the feds come down on your ass? And then when you got a big group of people like that, it's just a matter of time before somebody start talking, because the first one to squeal is the first one to get the deal. That's just how it works in them court systems. But yeah, I hate to see that Ruben. And here's the thing, man. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but I like Ruben Patterson, like a person away from the court, like a former UC Bearcat. I really dig the dude. Like, if you've ever met him, he's a very humble dude. He's a nice, listen, a lot of them NBA guys are nice, but Ruben's a different kind of nice. He appreciates the fact that you like him. Like, you can tell he's genuinely, and I don't even know him like this. I'm telling you, I've seen him at boxing events. I've seen him at concerts. I've seen him out. But I remember Ruben would come down to the YMCA and play ball with us when he was still playing at UC. And I didn't see a change from when he was a UC student playing ball at UC and when he started playing in the NBA. Now, I seen the same person. I don't know him personally. I don't know how he party. I don't know how he do things away from, being a regular person in public. I don't know his secret life, none of that type shit. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that I didn't see anything different in the UC Ruben Patterson and the NBA Ruben Patterson. Oh, he was a super nice dude. There's some big names on that list. There's some names on that list. You might want to look at it. You might be able to find it in Cincinnati.com. But there's some big names on that list. Not no LeBron Jameses and stuff like that, but there's some big names on that list. You all might want to check it out. I actually put it in the Wyatt-Live Messenger, family messenger group. The whole story is there. Go check it out if you can. But the $4 million, yeah, Crystal Wilright says, no, that is bold. $4 million. Wow. The $4 million is all those guys. The $4 million is not just on Ruben. You know how they write the story so people will see it, and they put the whole thing on Ruben. They probably did that to the local guys, like the local newspapers and video people in those other guys' hometown. The relevance with UC and Ruben Patterson brings it to Cincinnati, so they're going to put Ruben Patterson's face on it on local media. Yeah, they're going to make it look like it's all him, but it's not. This was a collaboration. We don't even know out of that $4 million, Ruben might only had, I'm just saying hypothetically, Ruben might only had a $10,000 claim or a $2,500 claim out of a $4 million claim. Hell, it was 18 players. So we don't know exactly what he got. Once again, I'm not going to make my comments on what they should do, how he is, and he's a piece of shit. I'm not going to do that because I don't know the circumstances. I know what the report reads. I know Ruben is already in trouble on some other things when it come down to, and I shouldn't say trouble, but it's no secret. Ruben had, you know, quite a bit of child support that was due, and he caught a case and he pled guilty on it or whatever, and he took probation, and then he had you know, he had to make good on his child support, and he's been doing good on that from my understanding. And now this comes up, so that can be a violation of his probation. That could go bad for him. I don't wish it on him. I'm telling you, he's a super nice dude. If you know the guy, he's a nice guy. All right, so I don't want to see anything bad happen to any nice people, but nice people do bad shit too. You know, and we got to understand that. You know, I'm just being honest. So we'll see how that work out. He just got indicted. So today is Thursday. This was the first day of it. I'm pretty sure he got arrested. I think Ruben lives up in Cleveland. I know he a Cleveland Brown fan. I see him on Facebook all the time. And, you know, he that dog pound shit for real. Like yeah, I know he's from Cleveland. I think he still lives in Cleveland. So shout out to Ruben and get that shit together, bro. If you need me, reach out, whatever. I'll try to help you or point you in the right direction or whatever, bro. Nothing but love over here because you always was a kind giant to the fellas and I down at the boy, you know, at the Y. You know, whatever I can pass on, any resources or whatever here, bro, I'm here. But when you're dealing with that Fed shit, when the Feds picked up that situation, there's gonna be some problems for some people. You know, there's gonna be some problems. The other thing, this tax abatement thing in Cincinnati, Ohio, I'm not sure how that's going to play out because I don't know the intricacies of the lawsuit. I don't know what they're claiming. I know what the primary is, and they're saying that there's a disparity in tax abatements in black communities versus white communities. You have to be careful when you fight that. You have to be careful on how you present that. Now, I don't know who the holding attorneys are on the case. I don't know. I know it's on a federal level is what they're trying to do, but you have to be real careful when you deal with stuff like that, because the first thing they're going to ask, if I'm anywhere near a defense on this, I'm not, but if I was, I would ask, point out those areas. Point those areas out to me, because we all know that Cincinnati talks big. The black community talks a lot about displacement in the black community. And I see a huge disparity in that argument when it comes down to saying black community and displacement. I don't see properties being taken from property owners displacing those property owners. I don't see that. I'm not saying it never happened in years. I'm not saying it never happened. I'm saying when you look at an instance like the FCC Stadium, you can water down a great situation, a great point, by bringing up asinine shit by saying black people got displaced during the FCC Stadium. It's not accurate. You can say whatever you want to say, but you can't displace anyone that does not own the property. You can say, okay, we're going to start sending people that's on like Section 8 or fixed housing or whatever. We're going to start sending them somewhere else. And some people may see that as being displacement. But the truth of the matter is there's two sides to the coin. I'm not on one side or the other. I just want to try to explain it the right way. You have a group of people who feel like they belong there, but can't afford to be there. But then you have a group of people who can actually afford to be there. Now, I know when I say group of people, everybody wants to label black and white. I got a PSA for my black community in Cincinnati. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but there's a lot of black folks in Cincinnati that make very good money. And downtown Cincinnati, in these new restored buildings that nobody wanted 15, 20 years ago, that we had an opportunity to get, but we didn't. Black folks actually own some of them buildings now. Now that they high priced and all that, I'm just being honest with you. I know some of you going to say what you say to me in my DMs. I'm being self-serving and I'm being conceited or whatever, but I'm one of them. I couldn't go living in that community that I called home and not purchase some land in what I called home. Now, if majority of us decided not to do that, I can't say that I've been displaced. I took stake in the land that I called my home. How many of us actually did that? You can't say that a landlord misplaced somebody because the owner of the building decided to sell to a corporation such as FC Cincinnati. If that's who it is, I don't know. I have to call like Steve Spencer, who was one of the brokers of that deal. And I don't know if Steve is listening, but I think Steve mentioned on this show once before, like, who got displaced? Everybody got paid. Everybody got moved somewhere. But here's the thing. We got to get an understanding of what's of reality. And this is going to sound a little harsh, but I've said this before. We have to understand the difference between a privilege and a right. If you're getting some form of, I don't know, support from the city or the state or whatever, if you're getting Section 8, that's a privilege. That's a privilege. You can lose that privilege by abusing it. So that lets me know it's a privilege. It's not a right. It's a privilege. You have to earn that privilege. You can fit in a certain category, like you can have an income base, you can this and this and that, but it's actually a privilege. It's not a right. So we got to understand how to decipher the two. We got to know. And until we have the right definition of who we are and where we are and what place we're in, until we can define that the right way, we have to be careful how we fight what we fight. Because sometimes, and it's happened so many times, we fight for things that are not right where they need to be yet. Trust me, folks, I'm on board. I'm on board because I benefit. I benefit from the lawsuit. I would benefit from it. I want to know this. Everybody and anybody who's bitching about this situation or who's on board with it, how many of y'all skint y'all knees down in the downtown area? How many of y'all grew up down there? How many of y'all, what other areas? Let's just be honest. How many areas in this lawsuit are they considering black neighborhoods? What are we saying? What areas are we saying black areas? Lincoln Heights? Because I know that Charlie Winburn, isn't that his name, Winburn or Winbush? Winburn or Winbush, somebody will tell me. Charlie, I call him Uncle Charlie. Black Republican, the bravest man on this planet to be black and to go on black radio and podcast stations. I give him his props. Shit. How many Republicans ride in that shark infested ass water over there? I'll be honest. I give it up to Uncle Charlie. Y'all need to shut up and listen to him sometime. He put y'all on some game. Y'all think he talk too damn much. Sometimes just fall back and listen to people that talk too much. You might learn something. Charlie put y'all on how Lincoln Heights paying higher taxes than Indian Hill. Y'all don't want to know the truth about that shit. I could break it down and tell you why it's that way. It's the same reason why you have two separate leaderships out there. You got a leadership in Lincoln Heights. You got a leadership in Indian Hill. Now, here's my question to my Lincoln Heights folks. This is like not me putting you down. This is just true story. Why does it take someone like Charlie Winbush, who's a Republican, not even in the Democrat Party, who generally looks out for the interests, Democrat Party looks out for the interests of black folks. Why did it take somebody like Charlie Winbush to be able to bring this to your attention? Where's the leadership in your party to be able to bring this to the attention of people, of the auditor's office? Somebody explain that to me. Why did it take somebody like Charlie Winbush to do this? Where's black leadership? See, what we do is we bitch about what's brought forth to us instead of going to find something, bring it to the forefront and bitch about realities, bitch about what's real. Like we'll get something like, we don't want to bring shit to the party. We just want to, the cookout. Windburn. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I called him like Angela Windbush. I can only think of a wig right now. She could blow. Yeah. Some of us only want to come to the cookout. We don't want to cook shit. We don't want to make nothing. And then we want to criticize what's on the plate. Yeah. So I ask you, why did it take Charlie Windburn to bring some of these issues up to the Democratic listeners and people of city of Cincinnati? How is it that, let's just say, how is it that Indian Hill could pay less taxes, property taxes, than Lincoln Heights? How is it? And it's a percentage. That's what it is. It's a percentage. Lincoln Heights pays a higher percentage, property tax percentage on the properties than Indian Hill. For those that are out of town or not familiar with who Indian Hill and Lincoln Heights is predominantly black. It's not all black. A lot of people don't understand. The white businesses that are there, those count. The white people that live in the little outskirts and not quite in the hood of Lincoln Heights or wherever, those white people count for residents of Lincoln Heights as well. And Indian Hill, for those that don't know, if you're in Cincinnati, you know, but you might be out of town. Indian Hill is a suburb of Cincinnati, which is $1 million houses. I think that the low end average out there is like 800,000. Which, here's another thing that y'all didn't know. Indian Hill at one point had a higher foreclosure rate than most neighborhoods in the city of Cincinnati. Yeah, they got $1 million houses, but they got a lot. They have $1 million bullshit going on out there too. You didn't hear about that, did you? Oh, because it don't concern black folks. If it don't concern us, we don't pay no attention to it. Bad shit only happen to us. They always only taking our property. They always want to tax us up and take our properties. Well, you might want to go look at that paperwork out in out in Indian Hill, and look at those people that lost their homes out there. Do I feel sorry for them? Hell no. But I'm saying they had one of the highest foreclosure rates in the state of Ohio. How is that possible with $1 million homes? How is that possible? Well, it's possible because everybody overspends, do shit out of budget. Remember when we had that big housing burst and bubble out in the United States? Remember that? Well, there were people in Indian Hill grabbing properties that were $1.2 million, and they would have $2,500, $3,500 mortgages. And then when what they call balloon payments came in effect 2 years later, they paying $3,500 to live in a $1.2 million house. And then all of a sudden these new payments come in because it's a balloon situation. Now all of a sudden your shit is like $9,000. And they couldn't pay. Taxes got backed up. The balloon payments popped in. You getting taxes behind and you getting payments behind, and you foreclose. They had the credit to be able to qualify for a $1.2 million house. I know we don't look at it that way. We just say them rich ass white folks. No, just be honest, man. Let's admit one thing on Wyatt-Live right here. Them white folks just know how to get shit done. That's the bottom line. When news come out, they got people in places that can tell you when certain shit happening. Oh, we got these 1.2 rates and this good ass money rate right now, and these balloon payments. And hey, I tell you, in 2 years when the shit come back to being normal, that's when we'll refinance. So all this time you'll have a $2,500 mortgage on this 1.2 million, and then you'll refinance it. You'll do all this shit. They fell for the dreams and shit too. And a lot of the people that qualified didn't really qualify. But you could say the same thing happened to black folks, because we did the same shit in different neighborhoods. Not in Cincinnati, I'm talking about throughout the country. Look at the high rises over in Miami, Florida. That housing bust a hole in Miami, Florida. They had people, you could go over and buy a foreclosed $1.7 million high-rise apartment, townhouse, condominium in downtown, not quite Miami, but it was in between Fort Lauderdale and Miami. But at least it was oceanfront. 1.7 million people were buying them things out of foreclosure for 600 grand. People just know how to grab shit. Let's learn how to do moves. Let's learn how to make moves. Let's not so much focus on the shit that's already been passed. That can hurt you. Because when you focusing on the past, the future is passing. And I'm not saying that you can't benefit from some past. And if you let your past go, your future will be foggy. I get all that shit. It all sound good, but I ain't never made $1 in my life off some past shit. I ain't never done it. I ain't never done it. I'm just being honest with you. That might sound bad to some people. That might sound a little self-serving. It might not sound like what you're used to hearing on a daily basis. You know, they got two types of money in America. It's called new money and old money. Give me some of that new shit. Give me some of that new shit. So let's just be careful on these tax abatement arguments, because one of the things is just because it's going through the circuit and it's going to be heard, don't mean that it's valid. Now, I'm not saying that it's not. What I'm saying is this: they're going to wait. Sometimes, just like how we as the Black Lives Matter movement moved for black folks, who benefited from that? All these black folks out here in the middle of the street hollering George Floyd and all this shit that's going on. But at the end of the day, when all the dust from 2020 went off, who all benefited from that? Who all did the majority of the people who was out there protesting on the argument, who benefited from it? Other people, other interests piggybacked on that fight. So be careful. Am I saying don't do the fight? No, I'm not saying that. But here's my thing. If I'm a defense of it, I say this: well, show me an area in Cincinnati that was predominantly owned. And when I say owned, those are people that are qualified to even get tax abatements. Now, I can only use myself as an example of when I was growing up, but we grew up in law homes. I don't know anybody that owned the 3rd floor. We lived on the 4th floor. It was 4 floors in law homes. All my friends lived in law homes and Lincoln Courts. I don't know any of us or any of their friends or family that owned the 2nd floor, 1st floor, 2nd floor, 3rd floor, or owned a unit. So I don't think that will qualify. I remember Vince Martin and all the stores down on Land Street, Callaway's, the hair salon, the fish market. I remember all that shit. All of it was rented. None of them owned those properties. They don't qualify. We had leadership that looked like us back in those days. Why weren't the leadership asking for tax abatements? Were they blind of it? Hell no. It was public record. The same reason why Charlie Winburn could see that Indian Hill was paying less tax. When you get people that's interested and people that's doing their job shit, to be honest with you, the Lincoln Heights City Council, who could do their evaluation? Why don't they know that type of stuff? Why aren't they on the cutting edge of learning where they are in certain places? What are we fighting for? Shouldn't we look for certain things that interest us? Like, what could make the difference now? What's going on right now? Not what happened then. What's going on now that's not right? That might be our fight. And I heard that there was a situation, somebody sent it to me. There was a situation where a family somewhere is now going to court to sue. It was a black family that owned some property, and they're going to get this property back, or they're trying to get this property back, of what their ancestors lost due to some illegal situations. Here, once again, we're reading the headline of it. We don't know the intricacies. People get tricked out of property. People get tricked out of a whole lot of shit. One of the things that happened to us as slaves is once we were free, the 40 acres and a mule thing never really happened. It's just conversations. And Spike Lee need his ass kicked for calling himself 40 acres and a mule as if it was privileged and it was gifted, and it wasn't. So Spike, come on, bro. You could have did way better than that. That's just my opinion. I don't mean any disrespect to him. I just think that sometimes we kind of advertise shit that's false advertisement, And, it kind of, I don't know. I don't know. It gives the wrong message. But like slaves, black people back in the day, we were free, and we were given certain lands, but then we couldn't function them. We could do the crops. We can do everything that we had been doing on it for someone else. But when it came to the business end of it, that's something that we were never taught. So here we are getting this property, getting this land, and not knowing how to do take care of the business end of the land. So a lot of people ended up selling, or owners were taking these properties from people because they knew that these people didn't know any better. Well, if it's on paperwork, that's going to be a hard one to get back. It's kind of hard to sit back and say, well, my great grandfather couldn't read and write, so he didn't know what this was, because none of them are here to be able to talk about the circumstances. We don't know if he couldn't read or write, or we don't know what those situations were. He can't testify to why he ended up signing a piece of paper, or signing some property back over, or giving the property over to some people under the impression that they were going to save it for his great grandkids. We don't know. He could have been manipulated. It could have been lied. A lot of things could have happened. We don't know. And it's going to be very hard to prove that type of stuff. Sabrina Calloway says the family was in California and the family just got the property returned to them. It was beachfront property that a black family built a resort on and was literally taken from them. In what kind of way? I'm not saying it didn't happen. That's what somebody sent me. I remember saying that. But there has to be some details of how it was taken from them. Was it intimate domain? Was it taken from them was it fraud? I mean, you see what I'm saying? What I'm saying to you is there's circumstances. These same folks' story may be totally different than other people who had their land taken from them. All situations aren't the same. They may have the same outcome, but they may have gotten there differently. They may have gotten there differently. So I know to a whole lot of people that I sound in favor of the other side. I'm not that. I just try to be more of a guy who wants to try to make people understand, let's get the shit right before we attack. Let's make sure that we have what we have. I watch it all the time. I've watched defense attorneys put all their eggs on one defense. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, whoa, you just exposed what you should be doing in phase 3. It's hard to explain. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it, to be honest with you, but sometimes you have to make sure that the details are correct. Mike Mitchell says, yes, intimate domain. So, here's the thing that you find out in situations like that. How much property was owned by black folks and white folks? Was it predominantly black people that lost all their property to intimate domain in that case? Or was there a mixture? In this case, if they already got the property back, chances are it probably was just, it was them. It was black folks. It was them specifically. And they were able to prove that the intimate domain position was probably corruption. That happens. There's no excuse for it. But here's what I want us to do. This is exactly why I say what I say when I say, if we don't own it, we have nothing. If we don't own it, we have absolutely nothing. And a lot of people get my messages confused sometimes with sounding like I'm trying to be like bigger or better. I'm not that, bro. I don't know any other way to say we got to start having ownership. We need ownership. Because it's a lot easier. The paper trail is a whole lot easier to kick their ass with. Now, let's look at this beachfront property. If the paperwork is right, that's an easy case to prove. The mistrust, the corruption, all that shit is easy to prove, right? Now, prove to me right now on this podcast, on our airs right here live, prove to me that people in the city of Cincinnati, black people in Cincinnati, got displaced due to the FCC stadium. Are we not going to say that's like the same thing? Isn't it the same argument? Kid, do you think that black folks can come back 10 years from now after the FC soccer team start winning games or whatever, the property is even higher in the neighborhood, and we are going to be able to swing back, do a 360 and say, hey, eminent domain moved us out of here. Or, hey, there was corruption going on in downtown Cincinnati and they built that stadium right here on the land. Are we going to be able to come back and say that? I don't think so. Because we didn't own it. We didn't own it. The only thing that I know for a fact off the top of my head, the only buildings that were owned by black people was the church down there. I can't think of the name of the church, but Steve Spencer was the broker on it. Now you got a black broker, you got a black guy in real estate that's working with Jeff Birding and them. And it was his job to make sure that the church got what they were supposed to get, relocate them, get them a new church, make sure that they're taken care of. That's what he does, right? Black guy. Did that church get displaced? How old was that church? Was that church in good condition? See, it's easy for us to bitch and complain. I don't want to say bitch and complain, but it's easy for us to have a whole lot of conversation about shit we don't know nothing about. What's hard to have a conversation about are the facts of these cases, facts of these matters, because who actually does the research on this stuff for our argument? Because I know I can't go back and say my grandmother owned the 1335 John Street, apartment 1205 or whatever it was on the fourth floor of Laura Homes. I can't go back and say they displaced us. They took us up top. There was corruption and they forced us out. I can't say that. So this is why I push ownership right now in Cincinnati and other surrounding areas. This is why I always say what I say. If we don't own it, we ain't got nothing. And you think the government is about to put us in a position to own something? Do you really think that? How did that work out for the Indians? Now, y'all think I'm talking about cowboy and Indian days? No, I'm talking about to this day. How is land ownership working out that the United States of America gave local American Indians and you know, traditional Indian tribe people? You do know that they have tribal casinos and land out west, Arizona. There's a whole lot of Indians in America, not enough to brag about, like they taking up, none of that. I'm talking about self-sufficiency, tribal owned casinos, tax-free situations. I see all this for everybody else. Now, do I believe the Indians deserve it? They deserve more. But what I'm saying is I see everybody being taken care of by the United States government. And I see us arguing and fighting over what we're due. I guess at some point you have to argue and fight. At some point we have to argue and fight. I get it. But you know what? If we ain't learned now that the check is due and they don't plan on paying, then you sit your ass right there, taking up that space, bitching and complaining about what credit is, what bill is due to you, and watch everybody else pass you by. We all know that a bill is due. But at a certain point, listen, I got to say this. I got to say this because I thought about it yesterday. I'm going to be real, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the dead, but I'm about to ask you a question. I don't know how to ask it I can't add any diplomacy to this question, damn it. I just got to ask you. Hit the share 1 second. Let me take a sip and I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to need an honest answer. I'm not making fun of the dead, but I got a serious question to ask everyone. How many of us, and I say us because I'm guilty, How many of us have gone to a funeral? Now, I'm not saying this is someone necessarily close to you. I'm not saying that. But how many of y'all have gone to a funeral? How many of us have gone to a funeral and the dude or the lady or whoever it is in that casket owe your ass some money? Owe down. Owe you some money. What do you say to yourself? Because you can't say shit to them. You can't say shit to their family. It's a sensitive moment. Now, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just trying to prove a point here. We all then went to somebody's funeral, or maybe not even gone to a funeral, and you heard the nigga dead. But owe down. Owe you some money. What do? You know the old saying that if motherfucker go die and owe you some money, you'll never be broke. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just being honest. How many people do you know went to somebody's funeral and the person dead owed you some money? Me? I've been to a few. And I chalked it up. I didn't sit there and complain or bitch about how I'm going to get this money off this dead motherfucker. I just didn't do it. I didn't do it. What I did is I said, oh, okay, he owed me $100. Now, let's use some significant amount of money. Let's use something significant, because $100 ain't going to make nobody. Some people will trip on 100. But let's just say somebody owed you $5 grand. Some shit that might change your life at this moment, help you through some bills, help you through some situations. And this nigga done died on you. How you gonna recoup that money from that dead man or woman? You can't, can you? You ain't gonna trouble the family like, hey, he owed down, you know, I got a promissory note, he told me. You ain't gonna do that. You gonna move on. You gonna figure out a way to get your $5 grand back somewhere else in some other kind of way. You understand what I'm saying? You're gonna move on. You're gonna take the loss and you're gonna grind hard to make the $5 grand, and you just might accidentally find a new way to make some money, like cash. Get your $5 grand back, and you discover, see, I'm back on my feet. I'm good now. Happened to me several times. A lot of people may not play the money game like I do. Linda is cold. Linda Matthews said, sue the estate. Girl, we talking about like, nigga just borrowed something from you. We ain't talking about you didn't win. No, it ain't like that. It ain't like that. Crystal, y'all need y'all asses kicked. She says, I'm rocking that casket. Stop it. Stop playing. Stop playing with the dead, y'all. Listen, let me make my point. Because y'all tripping. Crystal gonna rock the casket. Linda about to sue. You can't sue a family that ain't got it. Everybody be beating your ass. You start rocking that casket talking about he owe you some money. Stop it, y'all. Let's be serious this time. I'm trying to prove a point. Stop. What I'm saying to you is this. The money is gone. It's time to move on and find a new way to get it. Bitching and complaining about what this dead dude owed you is not going to put it back in your pocket. And that means you're a chaos agent if all you can do is talk about what this dude owe you. And he dead now. And everybody in the room going to look at your ass like, and every time you go to the job and bitch about Frank owed you $500 and that nigga dead. Every time you do that, somebody gonna look at you crazy. There's somebody gonna step up and say, you gotta let it go. You gonna make that 500 right back. What I'm saying to my people is, let's figure out a way where if things flow our way and happen for us or whatever they decide they gonna do, let's be even more powerful. Listen. One of my things that I try to do on Wyatt-Live, y'all tripping right now, you know that, right? On some of these comments. One of the things I try to do is add a little I guess I can try to turn a negative into a positive, but yet it has to start out negative because you have to talk about the negative, right? You have to bring certain things to surface. And in order to have curing situation, listen, if you ever go to a psychiatrist, you ever go to a situation, if you go to a marriage counseling situation, let me just ask you this. Do you really think that they just go in there and talk about how life gonna be? Like, this is how life's supposed to be? That's not how they talk. They want to know what's the problem, right? You can't fix a problem without talking about it, right? They ain't going in there talking about some shit like, well, if she start cooking meatloaf, things would be right. No, they want to know more in depth of why you guys, what's making you guys, twist and turn the way you are. They want to know what the problems are, what's aggravating to you that makes, what gets on your nerve, what, blah, blah, blah. They talk about the shit that you don't want to talk about. That's how you solve problems. But they don't have you go in there bitching and complaining about each other. They have you trying to resolve a problem by bringing the issue up front and having a discussion about it, trying to keep it as real as possible. That's how the shit go. So when I bring up certain topics and it might not sound genuine or it might not sound like it need to sound because, I might not say black this and black that and black folks this and black. Listen, man, you'd be surprised how much shit we have in common with what some of y'all want to pose as being the opposition. We got so much in common. You'd be surprised. We got black people with great jobs living check to check. We got white people with great jobs living check to check. And we can't even find ourselves to do that. We can't even come to the we can't even, I don't know if it's admitting that we got a lot in common, or you just don't continuously think somebody is better. I get this thing. I really don't know how to say this, man, but sometimes I just think we brainwashed. The shit that we think that they have that's more than us and better than us. I think some of y'all just been brainwashed from birth. And you gravitate to people who talk about that type of shit. But I'm comfortable being who I am. I wouldn't want to be another race. Now, I didn't feel that way once upon a time in my life because I was brainwashed. I was brainwashed, to be honest with you, to believe that in order to be successful in America, I had to be white. I don't mean that disrespectful. I'm telling you my truth. I was told and taught that I couldn't walk into a room being me. I wasn't going to be able to get a loan. I wasn't going to be able to buy a building. I wasn't going to be able to do shit. I wasn't going to be able to do nothing. You can't take your black ass in there and do this. They ain't going to let you do that. They ain't going to let you. Who is they, first of all? Who is they? Define they. If all you're going to do is be general and say white people, that don't explain who they are. I need a face. I need a specific individual who has their hand on the nigga you can't switch. I need to see him. I need a poster. I'm going to put him in my gym and hang him up like the boxers do. And every time I hit the bag, his ass is going to be nailed up to the wall, taped up to the ceiling or the wall so I can see him. So every time I hit my bag, I see the man that has his switch on the nigga you can't. The nigga you can't switch. I got to find that poster. I want to see who he is, who she is. Hell, man, there ain't a group of people that can't bitch every day about something in this country. TC says, what's up, TC? Says, and vice versa, Wyatt. Some white people don't like to hear us doing good either. I just experienced that yesterday at my job. I understand, bro, but you'll be surprised. I'm about to tell you something, TC, that I know you know also. It's a people thing. I know some black folks that don't want to see your ass have shit either. And will talk about your ass to people that love you. I'm wrong? See, I already know it's a people thing. The only thing that we have that people do in general is it's an easy thing to label black and white. We can put labels on shit all day long. But man, come on, man. We got people, come on, man. We got people that look just like you and I that hate on us on a daily basis. Stop your progression every day. But it's worse when I go in a bank and I'm told by some white folks that I can't do something. But yet when I do something, I got to depend on my own community to make it progress, to make it be successful. How's that support system working in America right now? I said, bro, I'm sorry, TC. I know. That's just me in general. I'm sorry. I'm around my daughters and them too much. I'm around my daughters and them too much. They say bro all the time. They just some bro shit. They say each other, they call each other, they be like, oh bro, stop, to each other. I apologize, TC. I didn't mean it any way like that. Come on, bro. I just say that type of shit. These are the conversations we don't want to have. We don't want to hear. Nobody wants to hear this. But even when we do get in a position to feed our community, how much support do we truly get from our own community? Why do we have to be extra good? I heard one of the talk shows a few weeks ago was right up my alley of what we talk about. He was like, bro, they didn't have no more chicken. I went to the black folks chicken place. They didn't have no more chicken. They tripping. I ain't going back there no more. And then when they end up going around the corner or going down the street to the national store, the white store, the KFC or whatever it may be, they was out of chicken too. Oh, it's a problem when the blacks don't have it. It's we don't facilitate, we don't do our business proper. But when they out of some shit, they just out of it. Okay, I get it. I got it. I understand. We super critical on our own. That's a lack of support. So we just getting it both ways, right? We just getting jammed in with a bunch of negative shit. We just getting jammed up. We can't go get the money. We can't get the system. We can't get the businesses, right? I'm just speaking in general. We can't get the businesses. And then when we do get the businesses, how much support do we truly get from our neighborhoods? See, this is negative talk to people that talk about black folks all day, every day. This is negative talk. No, it's not negative. This is real shit. These are things that we need to see. It's like what I tell you. We got to handle the problem first. You can sit back and say we get reparations. Try giving reparations to people that are not financially literal for this shit. Try giving a 22-year-old $1 million, not in reparations, but let a 22-year-old go win $1 million on a scratch off. And he might be from the hood or something. Maybe he don't have anybody to teach him anything about finances. What's going to happen? He's going to have fun for a couple years. Maybe some trouble might hit, but he will be broke eventually. You and I both know that. There's a level of schooling, a level of preparation for everything we do in this life. And if we get that, if we skip that, that could be detrimental to whatever we're trying to do. I would rather say this. A lot of people left, so they missed this part. I would rather say we focus on ownership of land, regardless of what their decisions are or what they gonna do with reparation. So you focus on land ownership now. You do what you're doing right now. Own what you can now. And then if that other shit jump, then you use that money to pay it off. It's a win-win. You can never lose for already having it. And then if the reparation shit never happens, that's okay. You still got land. You're still going in the right direction. And here's what I want people to stop saying, okay? Now, I'm nobody's daddy or no shit. I got 2 kids and 2 kids only. But I need you to stop getting wealth and rich mixed up, okay? Stop talking about land that a house, like your house, is the path to wealth. It's not. It's not. Okay, let's just be real. Ain't nobody ever bought no house and became wealthy off of it. So stop confusing the shit. It don't happen. You don't go buy a house. Your grandmother ain't never bought no house and you became wealthy off of it. The best you gonna ever do is if granny did everything she was supposed to do with that property, by the time it get in your hand and granny gone, by the time it get in your hands, it's paid off. All you have is a piece of property that you can get that's considered collateral and you ain't got no rent on it. That's it. And don't say black folks ain't been in that position, because we have. But what do we end up doing when we get in those positions? Do we use that property to go buy investment property, buy more property, or do we live in it rent free, or do we refinance it and get a mortgage on it? The only case in that matter that can get you to the level of wealth, and I say rich, not wealth, that can get you in the path of making some money is if you take that property that's paid off, that your grandmother left you, you rent it out, you use it as collateral to get you some investment properties. Now that's a path of self-sufficiency. All that other shit, that shortcut talking of land, like property, not lands, not land, property, housing, house. Stop thinking that houses is the old path to wealth, because it's not. It's not. That's like somebody that go to work and work their ass off. They work hard as hell every day at work because they gonna be rich. I hate to tell you this, but it ain't how hard you work that make you rich. It's how smart you work. So I'm dropping something to you. I don't know what financial literature person will tell you that property is the path to wealth. It's not. Ask them how many pieces of property they have and how wealthy they are. And then you ask them, is that how you got that money? Is that how you're wealthy? Most wealthy people don't even tell you how they got there, first of all. Just being honest. How many people you know that are rich that sat down a blueprint for your ass? How many rich people do you know and they was like, well, they'll tell you how they did it, but they ain't gonna tell you how they did it. Yeah, I started with one truck. Now I got 50 trucks. It was tough, but they ain't gonna tell you all the ins and outs and the things they really had to do with them trucks. They not gonna do that. Go out and get you some investment property. That's what you do. Now, there's a huge difference. If you're looking at investment property, you're looking at rental situations. Or you're looking at maybe flipping homes and stuff like that. That's a lot more work than you think. That's risky. It's a tough business right now. But when you look at things like commercial space and properties, I'll tell you, one of the guys that I admired growing up, y'all might not like this because he don't look like me, but I learned so much from that man just watching him, was Arnold S. Levine in the city of Cincinnati. I watched Arnold S. Levine, the older man, the man who started the name, the attorney Arnold S. Levine. He was more than just an attorney. I watched him buy up almost the entire downtown Cincinnati. I watched him. You may not believe this or not, but I watched what he was doing and it inspired me. That man owned damn near everything but the jail right around downtown Cincinnati. And I mean, millions of dollars worth of property. When he passed, I used to go see him. His office is right next door to my office. He would tell me every day, I couldn't stand Mr. I love the man in a sense, okay, because I've known him since I was a little boy. But let me just say this to you. As he got older and was in the wheelchair, I hope I'm not speaking on the dead the wrong way. I just want to tell you how energy matches. How you got to be careful the energy that you surround yourself with. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know. He I guess he was joking with me. I would walk across, the street right here. We had a little bitty street that was probably 12 feet wide. I'd walk across there and go see him when I seen his van. He had a custom van and he would be in the wheelchair. He would get out his wheelchair, and I would sometimes see that he's going in his office, and I'd be like, I'll give him about 15 minutes. He'll be settled in his office. He ain't doing shit because his son and them run the business. So I would go in there because I remember going in his office when I was a little boy, and he'd let me go in his candy dish at the front of the law firm. I'd always go in there and grab me some candy. He wouldn't say shit. He'd say, get one. You know my ass. I had to grab a handful. So Reese cups, all the good shit. Trick or treat every day. But anyway, as he got older, I would still go visit just to say hi. Problem is, as he got older, he changed. He changed a whole lot. He would say shit to me that I just never knew that he felt that way. I done gave all these black people all these chances. And I was like, hello, you know I'm black, right? They done ran through my property and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, you know I'm black. What you talking about? He was like, no, I'm going to tell the truth. I let him go rent free. I'm like, oh my God. But he was telling the truth. I ain't mad at him, but I was like, wait a minute, hold on. That school that was down there, LTC, TCL, or whatever that shit was, right across the street from the Justice Center, he owns that building. That was a school down there. That damn building is a skyscraper. It's not there anymore because the owner, it was a charter school. He's in federal jail. But it was a predominantly black charter school. He didn't do him right. He got other properties that I would ask him about, and I'd be like, what about this building? It's empty. What can we do with that? One of my guys was looking for a gym. This was 3 years ago, before he passed. I got a group of kids, they need a gym, and this would be perfect. Nope, I can't lease it. It's in litigation right now. I'm suing somebody. What do you mean? Well, they didn't pay the rent. I gave them all this favor. Everybody come to me with these sob stories, Wyatt. They come to me with these sob stories, and I just give in. But let me tell you what was more inspiring. When I found out everything he was buying in that area, Brenda Harris says, so Arnold died and left the money to his sons. Absolutely. Not only, hey, Brenda, check this out, sweetie. Not only did he leave it to his sons, the money, he left the business, which is the law firm that is still active cases. But more importantly, guess what he left? Property, valuable property. One of them is building right behind his law firm, which used to be a little right there by School of Creative and Performing Arts, the old School of Performing Arts. They owned that little land that was a parking lot. It was a beat up parking lot. They owned that land. They turned it into a high parking garage now, right across the street to what is called Hard Rock Casino now. Millions of dollars of property. Now, I, at the beginning of my life, I could not match nowhere near what Arnold S. Levine was doing. But do I have to have what he has to be able to do what he does? No. You find a scale. You just learn the blueprint and you activate it somewhere else. And that's what I did. See, we're not missing privilege. We're missing know-how. The opportunities are there. We just don't know where they are. We don't know how to seize the opportunities. Anybody that knows me personally, you know where my office is. You know the building I own. It's right next to the high-rise parking garage. It's right next to the Hard Rock Cafe, right directly across the street. Who would ever thought a kid from that neighborhood would own a building that big? Now, some don't trip. This ain't about me. What I'm saying is I patterned how I was doing things off of what I seen around me. That's all I'm saying, folks. So all this shit about we don't have opportunity and this and this and that is bullshit. Fair chance don't come our way is bullshit. It just ain't happened to the right person. It ain't happened to somebody that's black and brave enough to come out and tell y'all how this shit is really working. What's more easier to do, what's easy to do is sit back and bitch and complain about what ain't been working for us, how we done got screwed over, and how the quarterback dropped the ball on us. That's not my style. I'm not saying that those things haven't happened. Please understand, I'm not saying they didn't happen. But if I was sitting back listening to all that shit, I would have never been able to see some of the opportunities. Keep in mind, this is not a kid. I'm not a kid anymore, but I was a kid at that time. I was not a kid that was privileged. I didn't have a daddy. I didn't have anybody telling me. But I had to get myself in a position to be able to know. I just figured out a way to be around the people that was getting shit done. That's it. I'm proud to say this. You may be one of them. You may be one of these people that I'm about to talk about. Let's just do a show of hands. When Wyatt-Live started in 2020, March of 2020 to be specific, it was right during the lockdown. Who remember that all I used to talk about was what's going to happen after this pandemic? How many of us are going to have something in our name? How many of us are going to have a business that we could call our own? How many of us going to be able to say, I got something out of this shit? How many of us been able to do that since then? I know several of you who started businesses and reached out to me and said, thank you. Thank you. The businesses might not be going as strong as it need to, but I'm proud at what I'm doing and I feel good to have something that's mine. If you're one of those people and you're brave enough, or not brave enough, but if you by show of hands or show of hearts or say me, put it on the screen. I would really appreciate that other people know, because most of you already done reached out to me and said it. But I'd like to know how many actually started a business off of the motivation of what we were talking about on Wyatt-Live the last year. And for y'all that stole money through the PPP shit, I ain't talking about y'all. Because I told y'all not to fuck with that money. While other places was sitting back talking about, yep, here it is, y'all. We about to get some of this money. And your local politicians was the main ones talking about, we got plenty money. We got plenty money. We got so much money. We can do what we gonna do. We got a whole lot of money. Where they do that at? And who got a lot of money for whatever the fuck y'all want to really do? See, that's that politician shit that I just can't bear. I can't stomach it. And your local politicians grandstand, that's all. They get in and learn to say, they get in and learn new words. All right, what I mean by that is this. What I mean is this. Check it. We all done met somebody in our life or have somebody in our life that talk, maybe a lot, maybe a little bit, it don't matter. But we always know somebody when they learn a new word. Don't we? Help me out, fam. How do we know when somebody learned a new word? They find any kind of way in that conversation to use that new word over and over and over and over again. Let's think of a word. My daughter loves this word called literally. She drives me up a fucking wall using the word literally. My youngest. I literally just had to run home. I literally just had to drop my school bag and Trinity, babe, can we use a different word? Can you please use a different word? Bless my baby's heart. Literally is her word for now. She'll get a new one and she'll burn a hole in it. But we all know somebody like that. Well, I see a couple who were brave enough to be honest. Sabrina Calloway, thank you, sister. She says, I'm one, and I thank you for help inspiring me to get back to my gifts and talents. You're welcome. I'll be looking for my my residuals from your great company of mask making. You remember the speech I gave back when I said, let's get at it? Let's make 50 a day or $50 a week. Let's make $25. It don't matter how much it is. Let's just make it. And remember that I said the only thank you that I want to get, it's not residuals, it's not any money. I don't want any of that. I just want the day that you become successful, I want you to be able to say thank you for being an inspiration. That's all I've ever wanted. And remember that? I never wanted anything special. Never. Other than a thank you one-on-one. Now, it might sound like I just said for everybody to say thank you to my ass. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you is I need other people to understand that what we have been doing here has been putting in work. We've been putting in work. We don't leave this platform disgusted and mad. We don't feel like nobody owe us shit. We always try to leave knowing that we can do what we need to do. Whatever somebody do for us or whatever don't come, it don't mean anything. But when we get something, it's just a plus. It's something special. It's added on to what we got going on already. Latoya Gooden, PC comes in. She says, I'm one. Thank you. I know what you got going on too, sis. I hope it works out. One day I'm going to do something special for everybody. I'm going to bring in my cast of, I call it the Wyatt Shark Tank. I'm just going to be honest. I bit the idea of the Shark Tank. Okay. I have 17 African-American brothers and sisters that I've invested in several different businesses, t-shirt businesses. One has a junior achievement business of candy. They make dishes with candy, Christmas candy dishes, and they do all of that. Okay. I have a little brother that has three lawnmowers, riding lawnmowers. I mean, he's about 35 years old. And I know I'm 40, but he's a young man to me. Who says something? I've invested in his lawn care service. These are not lawn care services that have Wyatt on it. I don't want my name on it. I just want to make sure that these people have what they need. If I got to work the business, it's not for me. I'm a capital adventurous. I invest in these businesses. That's it. There's several others. Brother called me yesterday. They got a trucking company. Now I know the money is in trucking right now. Listen, some of us have been truly blessed, but we all are blessed. Some just use their blessings in different ways. Some people will never understand that. Some think that just because you say shit, you don't mean it, because they don't mean what they say. They try to. They convince themselves that they mean what they say. But I don't see any productivity out of some of the shit that's said to us sometimes. It's the same reason why Facebook is about to be in trouble. It's the same reason, because they know what they do. They know that these platforms and radio stations, radio and TV ruled Black America for years of negativity and stereotypes. And these same devices, these same platforms, and these same media situations are still doing it. I was just having a conversation the other day with a partner of mine. He lives in California. We on the phone and I'm like, bro, is it me? Are they shooting more black commercials out there in California? Are you noticing this shit? He was like, bro, you see this shit? This is stuff that my partner and I have been having conversations over. We didn't have conversations about this 20 years ago. And I was like, look, man, I don't really rock with companies that put commercials out. Like when the BET Awards are on, like I don't see P&G. I'm just using them as an example. P&G has a diversity program and all that shit. So I'm just using them as a talking point, using them for the argument. There used to be a time where when you advertise, let's say the BET, not the BET, let's just say an awards A black award show came on a national television station like Channel 9 or 12 or some shit like that. And it was just predominantly black. Say the BET or some Ebony show came on and it was on Channel 9 or Channel 12, national ABC or something. And I noticed that they would always have the McDonald's commercials and they would use black people during the black programming. But them same commercials were sitting on the shelf during normal programming when Knox Landing, Dynasty, and white shows, so to speak, were on. They didn't show those same black families walking in McDonald's and little Johnny go get on the fucking little Ronald McDonald and ride the horse thing and we family oriented. McDonald's didn't show black people that way. Only to black people they showed it. They didn't show that to the massive, to the people during certain regular programming. They didn't show us as active joint family, mother, father, black powerful. They didn't show that. They only showed it to us when we had black programming going on their channels. So I kind of had this little personal thing about companies that did shit like that. I was not going to ever invest in any of them. That's why I don't have any McDonald's stock. It's foolish, but I sometimes put my foolishness on my shoulder and my heart makes my judgment for me sometime. But I don't own McDonald's stock because they were one of the ones that would always show black families on black programming, but they didn't show black families during regular programming. And there's a lot of companies that do that. But these days, now I'm starting to see, I could be watching something or pass by and see something on the TV, and you got a black family during a white program show. I'm seeing it's getting better. But here's another thing I'm starting to see a little bit more. I'm starting to see a lot more interracial couples on these commercials. Every once in a while, I see a black man with a white woman as the commercial. Got a couple mixed kids. I ain't got no problem with it. I'm just starting to see some things change. I'm starting to see that some of these companies are paying a little bit more attention to that. Maybe they hiring firms to come in and diversify some of their image or diversify some of their approach of how they seeing things out here. Maybe that's what it is. But I knew my but I knew my internal protest against these companies was legitimate. Because if all you do is think that black people are criminals and shit, there has to be a reason why people would think that. It has to be put in front of them. It has to be constantly put in front of them. And if you don't see a family structure, see, that could be misleading if you never see that out. That's why people think there's no black folks, there's no black families together, there's black men are out of the house and all that old shit. That's why we have that perception. 70% of the black men in America are not with their father, with their children. That's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay if another black man then stepped up and became, like I told you, I don't do that stepdaddy shit. I don't believe in stepdaddies. The only time a man is a stepdaddy is if a kid tragically lost his father in a fire or some type of death or tragedy, and the father was not able to come around anymore due to this tragedy. But if he has a situation where the mother and the father of that child is no longer together, but another man steps in and he's married to this woman and he's taking care of the kids, that's that man's daddy. Ain't no stepdaddy. Fuck that. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know any man after loving a child for so many years, even if he's the stepdaddy, if you want to call it, he will always, especially a brother, he will always step up and say, them my kids. Fuck what you talking about. Them my kids. And if the daddy is still around and living, he'll respect him, but he know them his kids. You know what I'm saying? Like the stepfather, let's just use that for argument's sake. The stepfather always say, them my kids. But he might not disrespect the real father, but he will always have that. You didn't have this stepfather, them your kids. You didn't have them kids for 10, 15 years. How could you think anything different? Them your kids. You the one took them motherfuckers into McDonald's. Let them jump on Ronald McDonald. I'm just saying. I personally don't believe in stepdaddies. I believe in daddies. That's just me. It made me hungry. Talking about McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's anymore. All right. I started a little late, so I got about 5 minutes if y'all okay with that. Yesterday, I was drained. I didn't feel good. I was drained. I needed a break. I came home. I'm in Florida. I was drained. You got to understand that I have a mental. My mental is if there's chaos, anxiety leads up. I'm a man at peace. I feel good about me. You know what I'm saying? Me, the individual. A lot of people had this perception that everybody's getting on your nerve, and like I figure I've learned something in life, quite honestly. I try to be around people who can match the energy that I'm giving. That's what I think we all try to do, right? That's why we find ourselves in the circles. I had a conversation with my sister today, with Crystal. Y'all know me and her sandboxes. We've been knowing each other since we was children. And I had to say something to her off the record, but I'm going to put it on the record right now. Put the needle on the record. I'm going to put it on the record right now. And I asked her, we was having this deep conversation about some shit, right? I ain't going to say too much about it, sis. I ain't trying to get nobody messed up out here. I'm just saying. But I asked her a question. I said, how many how many poor people do you know hang with rich people? She'd be like, I don't know none. I said, well, how many rich people hang with poor people? She'd be like, shit, I don't know none. I said, you got that right. I said, you got that right. I said, you got to match your energy. And what I mean by that is something simple. When you see a group of people interested in all the same shit, generally they matching each other's interests, like energy. And if all you want to do is talk about what's old to us and what's toe up and what's wrong, what's fucked up out here, there is a crowd for you. There's somebody that'll listen to that shit. There's somebody that'll listen to how to fix what's already fucked up and fixed, that's already messed up, okay? Let me just tell you something. I want to open up y'all slow leak a little bit. Let some of the air out a little faster, because y'all really slow leaks as far as I'm concerned. Let me help you understand something. The United States of America gave Afghanistan's $6 billion to function in this country in a drop of a dime. Don't let them surpass you in home ownership, land ownership, business ownership. Don't allow that to happen. And if it does, don't blame it on the $6 billion that they got. Don't blame it on that. Blame it on the fact that they seen opportunity and took care of it. Just like the $20,000 building. A building that I seen downtown that nobody wanted. See, these are the same displaced areas. See, this is why I have a problem with that displacement shit. Because while y'all talking displacement now, where were you 15, 20 years ago when nobody wanted the shit? You wasn't talking about all this shit out here is so condemned and nobody want this shit. They gonna sooner or later, they gonna come displace us because they gonna want all this shit. None of y'all was saying that shit at that time. Old boy here seen something that you didn't see. Now you want to act like you want to discredit. As if I had a fucking silver spoon in my mouth and somebody said, hey, Wyatt, let me slide you 20 large. Let me slide you this 20,000 and you go fuck up the world. You go do what you do because you special. Ain't nobody told me that shit. I could never find my father. I could never find anybody that had that kind of know-how. I had to sit back and infiltrate conversations. I had to sit back and watch a man do that shit. I had to sit back and learn. Nobody called, hey, let me show you how to do this shit, player. Now, bagging up some weed, I was bad. I was gangster at that shit. I had a lot of people that showed me how to do that shit. I wrapped the hardest nickel bag that a nigga could put out on the street. Y'all remember them little wilderness bags back in the day, the little plastic ones? That's too much. That's too much. Stop, Wyatt. Stop. Stay on the square. Stay on the square. Let them think you square. Let them keep on thinking you soft out here. I was called soft. Nigga, you wouldn't make it a week where I'm from, where I've been. Not a week. Not a week. Stop. Shit. Cushion ass nigga talking about somebody soft. Get out of here. It's coming from somebody that had a mama and a daddy. I'm sorry, I shouldn't. I'm sorry. Had all the good things in life. Had everything lined up. Had everything lined up. Let me see something. Linda Matthews says, tell it 6 billion, now what? Come on, sis. That's what you need to be telling to them chaos agents when you listening to them shows and shit, and they talking about this and talking about that, and talking about Biden been in office only 8 months. He been in office 8 months, and he's been in 8 months and still been able to do shit in 8 months for everybody else but the niggas that put him in there. That's now I didn't make that up. If I made that up and it wasn't a fact, then you could be able to say, nah, why you wrong for that, man. Give him he's been in 8 months. Who's been on a job 8 months and been able to change shit? Well, let's ask LGBTQ, let's ask the Asians, and now let's ask the Afghanistans, and soon, and I mean very soon, you'll be able to ask the Mexicans the same question. And then I want to ask Cardi B slow leak ass. I know y'all love her music. I know y'all do. That's cool. You can love her beats all you want to. You can love all the music you want to, but I'm going to ask her slow leak ass. Now that Joe Biden's in there, have you seen that new plan? Anybody making over $400,000 will be taxed heavily. Have you seen that one, Cardi? Now you make $400,000 a show, sister. So slow down on that kind of talk. You probably make $400,000 a show. You doing arenas, right? You getting Mary J. Blige kind of money, right? Probably more than Mary. So how is Biden helping you out in anything in this world? You fit in the category of the people he trying to tax. But here's something y'all don't know. Now, I know Biden's supposed to be cutting taxes and hitting the rich, right? So let me ask you this. If that's the case, why is he changing the IRS code and making it that they're going to monitor anybody that makes more than $600 a month in transactions in their bank account? Listen, do you know how fast I go through $600? Doing what I need to be doing responsibly? So you trying to tell me they about to ramp up IRS, and if you doing $600 worth of anything in your bank account, they on your ass. $600? $600. So majority of everybody pay more than $600 in the black community for rent. Now not the Section 8 month. They pay $25. $50, shit like that. Stop it. I'm not talking about that. Let's not trip on each other like that. I'm talking about the middle class on down and whatever. Everybody executes more than $600 a month in their bank account. Why would the IRS be interested in people that are doing $600, minimum $600 of transactions? That's silly. That's fucking 2 grocery shops bills for us. I done went to Kroger's and spent $200 on almost a full cart. Why they in our business like that? Some of y'all gonna be in real trouble. You can't go to the casino no more. Because if you make any transaction over $600, they're gonna start looking at it. They're gonna tax it. They're gonna do whatever they're gonna do. That's $600. Now, this is them taxing the rich. When did 600 make us rich? Somebody explain that shit to me. You get a Christmas bonus at work, $500, whatever, I don't know. You got to put it in the bank. They're going to give you a check. They ain't going to give you no cash on your job. Go put that $500 check in your bank account. There went most of your $600 I can't go over. Brenda Harris says, so what's the plan for the Afghanistans with the $6 billion? I don't know. You tell me. Shit. Hey, How did they come up with a plan that fast? 6 billion? What can't they do with 6 billion? That's going to get them paid. That's going to get them aligned to be able to do certain things. It's going to get their kids lined up for school. It'll probably be some speech classes. It'll probably be some, some tutoring, private tutoring. There'll probably be some special things set up so they can accommodate, accumulate to this society. There's going to be a whole lot of things. There's going to be probably some lending available. Come on, man. They're going to let them function as regular people that are behind a little bit. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? Look, I know other platforms talk about shit like this. Our approach is just a little bit different. I don't knock any of those guys. Okay, I really don't. I try not to. It might come off like I am. I don't mean to do that. What I'm saying to you is my education is not learning what somebody done to me. My education is learning what I can do with what I have in front of me. I don't care that it used to be 25 bricks over there. I see 12 bricks. I got to figure out the way to build my hut. I'm not trying to go recover the other 13 bricks. Fuck that shit. I got 12 in front of me. Let's make it happen. How do we do that? What do I have in front of me? What resources? What do I use? Can we combine our bricks together and let's build one big hut? What do we need to do? I don't care about them 13 anymore. They gone. If they end up coming up, if they end up getting back to us some kind of way, then we'll add an extension to our hut. That's all I'm saying. Stephanie Hyde says, wait a minute. Linda says they are going to watch everyone. Hey, boy, shake my damn head. Yeah. Here's the other one. Stephanie Hyde says that IRS is null and void. I can spend $600 in a week. Come on now. Shit, some people got a $600 car payment. That's one check. Stephanie Hyde, that's laughable too. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so I think I've done enough for today. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. That don't mean not show up, y'all. That don't mean that. I just know that I'm about to take me a... You know what? I was going to take a shower. Can I get y'all in my business for a second? Some people do vacations. I do staycations. Some people do vacations. I do mecations. Mecation. Anybody ever heard of that? I made it up. I'm going to make t-shirts. You want one? I do mecations, where it's just me. I stay in the crib by myself. I do me. I try to get on my own nerve. Well, anyway, that's my plan for the day. I'm probably going to, let me see. Hold on a second. Brenda Harris. I love Brenda Harris. Y'all don't know. I've never met Brenda, but Brenda visits platforms throughout the city. And what I love about somebody that can tolerate me after listening to those other places, other stations and radio and podcasts and stuff, what I like about you, Brenda, is that I must be saying something that's interesting, because it shows your versatility in being able to deal with people like me. It takes a certain person to listen to other platforms and listen in radios and stuff like that and have a total different way of seeing things, can understand that we're not against each other. We just see a way of running the same race and getting to the finish line differently. Now, I'm going to be honest and say this to you. Mine comes with a whole lot of independency. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? At the end of the day, my blueprint comes with self-pride. It comes with hard-earned getting it on your own. It comes with self-sufficiency. And there's a whole lot of pride in every word I just said. And when you work for it, when you get it on your own, you take care of it a hell of a lot better. I'm not crashing anybody and all that, but you know, it used to be a time where I would big up those guys right here on my platform. I would speak highly of them. I never said anything bad. They don't even mention me as if I'm the enemy, as if I've done something wrong. It's not that. But the truth of the matter is we don't agree with everything sometimes, and that don't mean that we got to be enemies or foes. Not that at all. Matter of fact, I've admitted on this show they give me my energy. I don't know. Sabrina says, I live on mecation. I'm my best company. There you go. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Hey, you know what I did? I ended up playing one of my old tunes back in the day that I used to love, that I don't know what I did. Let's see if he sent me that message. Let me see. He did. All right. Yeah, I got you, Johnny. I got you, bro. I got you. Don't worry about it. We all gravy. I did it before I left Cincinnati, just to let you know on the air. I know what you said. So yeah, Crystal says mecation. I come up with some. My partner, he used to be like, bro, you come up with some crazy shit. Chaos agent? Yeah. Mecation? Anthroponegro? That's what I am. I'm all of the above. I'm not a chaos agent. I'm a chaos agent. I don't know. I'm like the Ghostbuster. I'm a chaos agent buster, Ghostbuster. Hey, I appreciate y'all coming in today, man. This is Wyatt on Wyatt-Live, the 5 p.m. drive home show. I hope to be here tomorrow. I really do, man. I don't know if I'm gonna have the energy. I'm gonna go swimming tonight. I'm gonna hit the pool. I'm gonna take me a nice little shower. And I'm gonna watch the ocean tonight. That's my mecation. So peace and love to everybody, man. Nothing but love. I miss everybody. Soon to see you. I'll be back in city. Maybe we can all do a lunching one day. I would love that. My favorite is meatloaf. All right. Peace and love to everybody, man. This is Wyatt. I am out. You know what I'm saying? Like last year. Holla.
Widescreen satellites, cable TV, Tony red, Tony blue, Tony green on the screen. It's in your house, every show, every place that you go. Technicolor is here, Technicolor is clear. It's Technicolor, 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 Technicolor. It's Technicolor, 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 Technicolor. L-O-R, T-B-C, H-N-I-C-O, L-O-R, T-B-C, H-N-I-C-O, L-O-R, T-B-C, H-N-I-C-O, L-O-R. L-O-R,